Mr. Uppity was one of the rudest people in the world, if not the rudest. He was rude to anybody and everybody. So, of course, in Bigtown, which is where he lived, he had no friends at all. Not one. Miserable old Uppety, they used to call him, and he certainly looked it. Now, as well as being rude, Mr. Uppity was also rich. Very rich. One of the richest people in the world, if not the richest. He had the largest, longest limousine in Bigtown. He had the largest, longest garden in Bigtown. He had, on the top of a hill in the middle of Bigtown, the most enormous house. The biggest house in Bigtown. And there he lived, all alone. Miserable old Uppity. One day, Mr. Uppity was walking in the gardens of his enormous house, when suddenly he heard a voice. "Hello," said the voice. Mr. Uppity looked, and there, in one of his hundreds of flower beds, was a goblin. "Are you not going to say hello to me?" said the goblin. "Go away," said Mr. Uppity rudely. "Oh, I know who you must be," said the goblin. "You must be Mr. Uppity, who's rude to everybody." Sniffed Mr. Uppity rudely. "Well, I know somebody who wants to meet you," said the goblin, and he skipped off, the way goblins do. Mr. Uppity's curiosity got the better of him. He followed. "In there," said the goblin, pointing at a small hole in a tree. "Don't be silly," snorted Mr. Uppity. Oh, I'm not being silly," said the goblin. "Yes, you are," snapped Mr. Uppity. "I can't possibly get in there." "Aha!" smiled the goblin. And then he said a magic word, known only to goblins, which sounded like wobbling, something like that. Suddenly, Mr. Uppity started shrinking. He shrank and he shrank until he was exactly the same size as the goblin. "Turn me back to my proper size at once," spluttered Mr. Uppity in a rage. "I shan't," grinned the goblin. And so saying, the goblin climbed through the hole into the tree. Poor Mr. Uppity didn't know what to do, so he followed him. Inside the tree, there was a staircase going down and down. It led directly to the kingdom of the goblins. "I demand to be taken immediately to whoever is in charge," said Mr. Uppity angrily. "Oh, you shall. So you shall," grinned the goblin. And he led Mr. Uppity through the streets of the kingdom of the goblins until they came to a palace. The goblin and Mr. Uppity passed through the gates and into a courtyard and through some more gates and along a long corridor and through some large gold doors and into a huge room. And there, sitting on a gold throne, was the king of the goblins. "Your Majesty," announced the goblin, bowing low, "may I present Mr. Uppity?" "Ah," said the king. "So you're the fellow who goes about being rude to everybody and doesn't have any friends." "Rubbish," said Mr. Uppity rudely. "I can see that what I have heard is true," said the king, looking at the indignant Mr. Uppity. "You're much too puffed up with your own importance. Therefore," he continued, "I'm going to allow you to be turned back to your proper size. But when you get back to Bigtown, if you're rude to anybody at all, you will immediately shrink to the size you are now. Do you understand?" The goblin then took Mr. Uppity back through the kingdom of the goblins and up the staircase and out of the tree at the bottom of Mr. Uppity's garden. The goblin looked at Mr. Uppity and said something which sounded like "Googly-googly-googly," and Mr. Uppity grew and grew back to his original size. "Now, you remember what the king said," warned the goblin. "Don't you be so uppity in future." Mr. Uppity marched off furiously up to his enormous house. The following day, Mr. Uppity was out walking through the streets of Bigtown. Suddenly, he came across a little boy playing with a ball. "Get out of my way," snapped Mr. Uppity rudely. But as soon as he'd said it, you know what happened, don't you? Yes, Mr. Uppity shrank and shrank until he was no bigger than the ball the boy was playing with. "Oh, dear," he gasped, and then he thought. "I'm sorry," he said to the boy. "What I meant to say was, please got to get past." Immediately, Mr. Uppity grew to his original size, and the boy moved, and Mr. Uppity went on his way. Then he met an old lady carrying a large shopping basket. "Excuse me," she said to Mr. Uppity. Could you tell me the time, please? No, said Mr. Uppity rudely. But as soon as he'd said it, you know what happened, don't you? Oh, dear, he gasped, and then he thought. I'm sorry, he said to the old lady. What I meant to say was, it's 11:25. Immediately, Mr. Uppity grew to his original size, and the old lady thanked him, and Mr. Uppity went on his way. Then he went and bought a newspaper from a man standing on the corner of the main street in Bigtown. He was just about to walk away when suddenly he stopped and thought, turned back to the man and said, "Thank you." Thank you was a word Mr. Uppity had never used before. The man smiled. A smile was something Mr. Uppity wasn't used to getting. Thank you was a word Mr. Uppity not only had never used before, but it was a word he'd never had said to him before. Mr. Uppity smiled. He felt happy. Happy was a feeling Mr. Uppity wasn't used to feeling. He liked it. And do you know, from that day forward to this day backward, Mr. Uppity is a changed person. He's still the richest person in Bigtown, perhaps the richest person in the world. But now he has lots of friends, and he smiles a lot, and he never gets that shrinking feeling. And do you know which two words Mr. Uppity uses most of all these days? Please and thank you.
Sometimes in sunshine, sometimes in style, sometimes with no time or just with a smile. Up to her eyes in surprises and tricks, no disguising, she's a little handful of trouble, a bundle of fun. Glad you could make it, so glad you could come. Little miss, we're waiting for you. Ready, steady, how do you do?
Nothing was too good for little Miss Splendid. She lived in a huge house, surrounded by large gardens. She bathed in a gold bath, and she dined off silver plates. Oh, she was splendid. At least, she thought so. "Soup, my lady?" asked the butler.
Oh, just caviar today, Hargreaves.
"Very good, my lady." Little Miss Splendid thought a lot of herself. In fact, she thought about nothing else. "Good morning, ma'am," said the head gardener.
Good morning,
"Cardwell, ma'am." "Good morning, ma'am," said the under gardener.
Good morning,
"Cully, ma'am."
Cully.
"Good morning, ma'am. Will you need your car today?" said the chauffeur.
Not today, Williams.
That day, while taking a stroll around her gardens, little Miss Splendid came upon a small door in one of the walls. She'd never noticed it before.
No, I wonder what's through here.
She found herself on a road. Along came Mr. Small, out for a short walk. "Good morning." Little Miss Splendid stuck her nose in the air even higher and walked past him as if he wasn't there.
What a common little man.
She came to a bus stop. Mr. Happy and Mr. Daydream were waiting for a bus into town. "Hello, who are you?"
I am splendid.
"Oh, I'm Happy. Happy to meet you. This is my friend, Mr. Daydream. Are you going to catch the bus?"
Me? The bus? Never. I have never, ever in the whole of my life travelled on a bus. You have to sit next to people on buses, and that would never do.
Oh. Mr. Happy couldn't think of anything to say. Miss Splendid walked off with her nose very high in the air.
Splendid, splendid, Amazing, quite superb. I know you cannot find the words. There's never been a little dislike.
Miss Splendid arrived in town. She looked at herself in all the shop windows as she walked down the street.
Splendid, splendid. I must say I do look absolutely splendid.
And then something caught her eye. There, in the middle of the window of the hat shop, was a hat. Not just a hat, but a hat and a half. The most magnificent,
Sumptuous,
desirable,
gorgeous,
spectacular,
amazing,
splendid hat you've ever seen. Little Miss Splendid marched into the shop.
shop, shop.
She snapped her fingers, and a saleslady hurried to her side.
Good morning, madame. Can I help you?
I wish to try on the hat in the window.
This one, madame.
Yes. Oh, magnificent. I'll take it. Don't bother to wrap it. I'll wear it.
But don't you want to know how much it costs?
Put it on my account.
Thank you, madame. Goodbye.
Little Miss Splendid stood on the pavement and held up her hand.
Taxi! Taxi! Take me home.
Little Miss Splendid went to get in the taxi, but of course she couldn't. Her new hat was much too large to fit through the taxi door.
Driver, you should purchase yourself a larger taxi. In the meantime, I shall have to walk.
All right, please yourself, duck. Cheerio.
Perhaps it's better to walk so that everyone has the chance to admire my magnificent new hat.
But then it happened. It started to rain. And the trouble was, the more it started to rain, the more it rained. And the trouble was, the more it rained, the more Miss Splendid got wet. And the trouble was, the wetter she got, the wetter her hat got. What a sorry sight. Don't you agree?
Pitter-patter, down it came. Pitter-patter, pouring rain. Pitter-patter, bumpety splash. What a very sorry sight inside the very wet hat.
The bus, on its return journey from town, passed her. And Mr. Happy and Mr. Daydream, on their way home, looked out of the window. Oh, I say, what a splendid sight. Splendid, chuckled Mr. Daydream. Miss Splendid, looking anything but splendid, arrived home. However, after a hot bath in her gold bath and after a boiled egg in her gold egg cup, eaten with a silver spoon, she felt much better. In fact, later on, she spent an extremely pleasant evening looking at... Well, now, what do you think she spent all evening looking at? No, not a magazine.
Splendid.
No, not television.
Splendid.
Not a book.
Splendid.
Herself. In the mirror.
Oh, I do look splendid. Splendid.
She's blunt.
He's fun. They're late and naughty. Twinkle.
She's troubles.
Sunshine. We're helpful, timing, neat.
Quite silly.
She's happy. She's little Miss
I'm
Sunshine.
fuzzy and greedy.
And